Okay, we're going to do a quick review because on Thursday you're going to take a quiz. So we're going to start with section 3.1, which was graphing using intercepts. Now, some of you struggled to set this up right, and if you don't set it up right, I won't give you credit, okay? So this is where you had to, for every problem, set up x-intercept, plug in your zeros, y-intercept, plug in your zeros for every single problem, okay? So let's do two examples real quick. 4x minus 3y equals a negative 12. Well, we set up exactly what I just said. X-intercept, y-intercept. And then you do exactly that. And I need to see a little bit of work. So we plug 0 in for y. Well, 0 times anything is 0. So we're left with 4x equals negative 12. Divide, and x equals negative 3. Make sure you're putting that in an x spot. Now we plug 0 in for x. Well, 0 times anything is 0. So negative 3y equals negative 12. Divide by negative 3. And y equals 4. And then once you have all that, you are ready to graph. Not a great graph, but it works. So what I'm looking for here is that you graph negative 3, 0 on the x-axis, 0, 4 on the y-axis, and draw the line, okay? The next one we're going to do is 5x equals y plus 10. Now, a lot of you are forgetting this part. We want, for intercepts, we want the x and the y both on the left. So you need to subtract y. So 5x minus y equals 10. And then you can set up your x-intercepts and your y-intercept. But you want that x and y both on the left, okay? And then we do just that. Plug 0 in for y, so we get 5x equals 10. Divide by 5, x equals 2. Make sure you're putting it in an x spot. Plug 0 in for x, so negative y equals 10. Divide by negative 1, and y equals negative 10. Again, putting it in a y spot. And then we go to graph. I know I'm going to have to go pretty far down on the y-axis. So I graph 2, 0 on the x-axis, 0, negative 10 on the y-axis, and draw that line. So when I'm grading this for points, I'm looking that for x-intercepts, you have the x and y both on the left. You set up x-intercept, y-intercept, plugged in your ordered pairs, showed some work to get the x and the y, and then graph correctly. All right, the next thing we need to review is section 3.3, which was slope. Remember the formula for slope? Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so they're going to give you, number 1, 2 ordered pairs, negative 3, 2, 2, 9, and they're going to ask you to find the slope between those 2 ordered pairs and state what type of a line it is. Some of you are forgetting that part. So remember, this is where I said you could label x1, y1, x2, y2. And then you just plug into that formula. So 9 minus 2 over 2 minus a negative 3. Well, 9 minus 2 is 7, 2, and this becomes plus 3 is 5. So 7 over 5 does not reduce, so it stays 7/5, and since it is positive, we say that it rises. Okay, so let's look at number 2. What if they will give us the order pair 4, 1 and negative 5, 1? Again, if it helps, x1, y1, x2, y2, but you don't have to. M equals 1 minus 1 over negative 5 minus 4. Which gives us 0 over negative 9. This is not reduced. Some of you are leaving it that way. That is wrong. It is not reduced. 0 divided by anything is 0. And if you follow our acronym that I gave you, we know a zero slope is horizontal. All right, number 3. The order pair 6, 7, and the order pair 2, 2. Okay? Again, x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug in, so it's 2 minus 7, 2 minus 6. 2 minus 7 is a negative 5. 2 minus 6 is a negative 4. Make sure you reduce. A negative and a negative become a positive. And again, since positive, it rises. So if we get a negative slope, remember it falls. So if we would get, say, just negative 4, it falls. And remember, if you get 0 on the bottom, that is not your answer. It would reduce to undefined, or you can write the word out undefined. And if we follow our acronym, slopes undefined, it's a vertical line. Okay. Next, we need to review graphing slope-intercept form. Okay. Remember, y equals mx plus b. We graph b first on the y-axis and apply slope. Some of you are not applying slope correctly. Remember, if it's positive, you go up. Negative, we go down. Bottom number, we always go to the right. Okay? So let's try this first one. Y equals 3x plus 1. Again, I'm looking that you name the m and the b. If you don't name them, you're missing points, because I am looking for that for points. So we start at 1, and we go up 3 to the right 1, because if you want to write it as a fraction, it's a positive 3, so we go up 3. We always go to the right for the bottom and draw that line. Well, the next question becomes is, what if it's not in slope-intercept form? Well, we have to put it in slope-intercept form. So to do so, we got to get rid of the x term first. So we subtract 4x. So it's negative 6y equals a negative 4x plus 12. Divide by negative 6 to finish solving. And again, make sure you wrote your x term first. We don't write it second. X term goes first, number goes second. Negative 4 over negative 6 reduces to 2/3 x, and 12 divided by negative 6 is negative 2. Then you're ready to name your m and your b. So we graph. So we start at negative 2 on the y-axis. And it's 2/3, so we go up to, always to the right, and draw that line. Okay? Last one we are going to do before we review our last section. Okay? If there's only an x or only a y, we solve for that variable. So I'm going to subtract 4. So negative 6y equals a negative 12. Divide by negative 6, and y equals 2. If you remember, if there's only an x or only a y, we don't need to name m and b. And again, if we follow the acronym that I gave you, if it's only a y, then it's a horizontal line, so I go to where y equals 2 and draw that horizontal line. Okay? Last, we need to talk about graphing linear inequalities. It's a little blurry. There we go. All right, so if we have, they want us to graph, that's all they'll say. They won't tell you all the rules. Graph y is greater than 1/2 x plus 4. When you see this inequality, you need to know that we still name our m, our b, but when we get to graphing, we're going to have to decide on solid, dotted, shading, and all of that. Some of you are forgetting shading. Okay, we need to remember everything. Okay, so we start with b on the y-axis. Apply slope, it's 1/2, so we go up 1 to the right 2. It is just greater than, so it is a dotted line. And greater than, we shade above. Also, remember, what's the difference between using a dotted line and a solid line? If you don't remember, you need to go back to your notes over section 5-6, because that is a good quiz question. Okay, what if it's not in slope-intercept form? So again, we would have to put it in slope-intercept form, so we subtract 3x. 4y is less than or equal to negative 3x minus 12. Divide by 4. Since I'm dividing by positive, it does not switch my inequality. Negative 3/4 doesn't reduce. Negative 12/4 does. So again, we name m and we name b. And I'm making my graph. So I go to negative 3, go down 3 to the right 4. It's a solid line because it's equal to and less than, see if it comes, there it goes, it'll focus. We shade below, okay? Also, a good quiz question is, what's the purpose of the shaded region? Okay. All right, last one we're gonna do. What if it's 4 minus 2x is less than or equal to negative 6? Well, again, there's only an x, so we solve for that x. Subtract 4. Negative 2x is less than or equal to negative 10. Divide by negative 10. Since I'm dividing by negative this time, I do switch the inequality. Again, since there's only an x or only a y, I do not need to name m and b. Again, if we refer to our acronym, if it's only an x, it will be a vertical line. So I go to where x is 5. It'll be solid vertical line. And remember, vertical lines don't have above or below. So we shade the way the arrow's pointing. So on this one, we shade to the right. All right, that's the review. It covers everything. Please let me know if you have any questions before the quiz on Thursday. Have a good day.